How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Sorry it's been forever and a day. I had a ton of real life stuff come up right as the ban list dropped. Like, I've maybe played a total of like 10 sets of Digimon in the past month. I've had a bunch of real life obligations to go be a part of that I've loved every minute of, but has also meant that I haven't had the time to play or talk about one of my favorite games. That being said, the Bandai CardGameFes had an event week before last as of recording in Dallas Bandai CardGameFes, and this is the top 16 of that event. For this video, I'm wanting to go through the top 4 deck lists and kind of break down each deck list, see what won. We can all see it here, spoiler alert, and kind of go into a little bit more in depth on each of the deck lists and see what works, and talk more about that and maybe what sort of things we can see in deck lists moving forward. Overall, though, this format, this pie chart looks wonderful. I mean, no deck is overrepresented. Like a couple weeks back, beginning of September, we had that one list that had Imperial at the very top at 9, which is a lot and kind of over-centralizing. But I mean, we even see Shine Greymon at 3rd place in this list and Imperial at 2nd. I mean, we have a very diverse and healthy format here that I'm really excited to look more into. This is all changed, of course, because since this tournament went live, of course, we've had Bandai has released EX7, and so that's now throwing Mother Reaper into place, as well as Hexablow into some previous archetypes. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and look at the 4th place list first and work our way up to 1st. All right, this is Larry's 4th place red hybrid Ancient Greymon list. A lot of what we see here is fairly standard. We're on 9 Flamemons and 3 Ukomons, trying to guarantee that we can get some amount of searching whenever our hand looks kind of odd. We're on a total of 12 level 4s. You have your combo pieces in this Greymon and Agunimon here, as well as your one that you love to digivolve into the back into with this Agunimon, because a play you can go is Flamemon into this Agunimon, promote, digivolve into this Burning Gray for 1, swing, and then you can do your combo from there, and that is, you can do that for a total cost of 1 memory, which makes it extremely strong. They're on this Burning Greymon instead of any of the other ones, like that would give you plus 2k to be able to get you up to 10 to get you that plus 2 memory. They're on this Burning Greymon to allow you to pop a 4k or less, which really is good against Kukuomon, which I don't think we're seeing a lot of people play right now because it's not as necessary with Ancient Gray and Ancient Garu's kind of fall off in favor. We're only on 2 level 5s and the 2 Aldemons because you're mostly warping up into the Ancient Greymons that you have. And speaking of which, we're on 4 of the new BT16 one and 3 of the old Ancient Greymon from BT4. This card is incredibly strong, allowing you to get upwards of, if you do that play that I had mentioned and you go Flamemon into Agunimon, Burning Gray, Aguni, that is all 5 checks in one singular swing. The amount of times that happens is pretty low, but if it does and you have an Omnimon, that is lethal as early as turn 2, which is, you know, extremely strong. Obviously, the deck can also pivot and just do Tamer into Burning Gray into Aguni into Ancient Gray. Either of these, right? Even going on top of a Tamer, that would be 3 total checks with this Ancient Greymon. And being 13k will natively allow you to get over a lot of the level 6s in the format, including Magna X, including Imperial Dragon Mode and Security. The only thing this really doesn't get over in Security is Tyrant stuff and Imperial Fighter Mode and Paladin Mode. Very, very good card. There's reason it's like $35 now. Moving along, we're seeing 2 Atomic Inferno, which a lot of people have been dropping, and I get why it's still here. I mean, being able to say, if you block, I gain 3 memory is really powerful. And so being able to gain that extra memory is really, really sweet. Being able to get that security +1, on the other hand, is also extremely good. Being able to, you know, just like, okay, cool, I'm going to swing with my Burning Gray trigger effect, go into Aldemon with an Atomic Inferno on it. That's 2 checks at 8, 12, 14k-ish. And so that'll get you over that fighter mode that I previously mentioned is scary. So that's pretty good. Only 1 Ancient Guardian Deity, which is kind of surprising, but this deck is a lot more low to the ground. It doesn't need to set up its combo as frequently because it is just going to aggro you out. With the combination of the 3 Ukomons here, you know, just kind of putting on constant pressure is good. We're also on 2 Red Mem boosts to find any of your Digimon aside from your Omnis and your Ukos. We're on 2 Crimson Blades to really help you in that Imperial matchup, which is otherwise pretty hard for you to win, with Return of the Primogenitors being such a good piece at stopping Ancient Greymon from what it wants to do. And we're on 9 total Tamers, 4 of the new BT17 Takuya, 4 of the BT12 Setter Takuya, and 1 of the Warp Takuya. You're never using it to warp, but it is funny to be able to go slot 5 underneath, slot 5 hybrids, including a Burning Greymon, and then Digivolve Aguni for 2, and then be able to go for the whole warp thing. being able to do that for a total cost of 5 or even 1, or possibly free, depending on if you have 2 of these promo good mods in your trash. That comes up less frequently, but being able to warp in, pseudo warp into an Ancient Grey is pretty good. So good job to Larry. This list looks really good. I would love to play it, but I do not feel like spending almost $100 on Ancient Grey mods. Let's go ahead and look at third place. All right. Third place is Wes on Shine Greymon. And Shine Greymon, for those who don't know, I actually got top 16 at Gen Con last year during Shine Greymon format with Shine Greymon. I actually got exactly 16th place at Gen Con, and that got me my invite to Nats earlier this year. So Shine Greymon is a deck that is near and dear to my heart, and it's been catastrophic kind of seeing what Shine Greymon has been up to lately. But seeing a list at this placement is feels pretty good. I don't know about you guys, but I see some interesting parts here. So we're on the red Koromon. Mirage is less of a known quantity at this point, and you can kind of go back up to this Koro, which is good because draw power is something that we're really missing in this deck. For our rookies, we're on 11 total rookies. We're on 4 of the Agumon from BT13 that allows you to turn any of your Marcus into an attacker. Extremely powerful, extremely strong. If you start your turn with a setter, you can always play this swing for game. I mean, that's just always incredibly good. You're on 4 of your Searcher, and you're on 3 of the EX4 Agu that allows you to gain a memory if you have a rare yellow Tamer in play, and then draws a card whenever Tamer is suspended. I've been trying out other Searchers in place of this. I've been trying out like the BT16 Searcher, or I've been trying out the, some people are on like the BT17 Searcher. I've been trying those out. I do want to try this Agumon again because it just feels clunky. I'm also on yellow base, and that minus 1k is less important, but you do have to play it if you're playing either of those Agumons, which of course I am. So I'm interested to go back to red base to try this out. The rookie lineup, pretty standard for what you have to do with Shine Greymon. You're on 4 EX4 Geograys, 4 BT12 Geograys, 1 BT13 Geogreymon. You need it to be at least partially yellow, so that way you can go into the Rise Greymon that we'll get into in a moment, and it has to be named Geogreymon, and these are just kind of the best ones. There's an option to play the security one if you really want to bump up to like 10 or 11, but I think these numbers are fine. Being able to Evo into this Geogreymon in the back and then be able to promote and essentially make any of your BT12 Marcus attack for free is incredibly powerful. And then being able to go promote it for free, Evo into any of these guys, or even Evo for 3, Evo and then swing into a Shine Greymon is also incredibly good. Just there's no better level 4s to play, so these are the ones that we kind of have to play with. Wish there could be some better options, but could be a lot worse. For our level 5s, we are on 3 of the BT13 Rise Greymon, 3 of the BT17 Rise Greymon, and 1 Rise Grey X. I've been seeing a lot of people kind of cutting these numbers down and doing some other ratios. I had been seeing, I really like this Rise Greymon. A lot of people are sleeping on it, but BT17 Rise Greymon is incredibly powerful. You can Digivolve in the back and then into this Rise Greymon and not miss out on its effect. And so if your opponent has a board that's kind of sticky, you can promote into this Rise Grey, swing, suspend one of your BT12 Marcus, and then warp into a Shine Greymon, making your attack a lot safer, which is very, very good. And you, of course, you have this Rise Greymon that allows you to warp up, lets you play out a Marcus, and then this Rise Grey X, which also lets you play a Marcus, but additionally also can kind of kill something, like a small floodgate if you really need it to. Also allowing you to go Rise Grey into Rise Grey X, play 2 Tamers from your hand, put you really minus on hand advantage, but is also really just strong in general. Since we're attacking with this level 5 a lot and kind of ending our turn there, we are also on 1 Valk Ace. Valk Ace is really good. Being able to give -5 to your opponent's board in addition to, like, whenever a card is removed from a security stack, give -8. This just kind of fits into the whole point of Shine Greymon, which its main form of removal is being able to reduce the DP of all of the Digimon. So being able to kind of sit on a 5 and go, okay, cool, I'm going to do this, and then I'm also going to block with one of my Tamers and then give a bunch of other minuses elsewhere, it just kind of brings everything together. I do like it as a one of 2 test. I think it obviously, I would love to be able to talk with Wes and see exactly how well this one of worked out for them over the weekend, but not in the world that we're in, unfortunately. I can't talk to Wes unless you're in the comments. Leave a comment about how well it worked. Next up, we have the Shine Greymons. We have 3 of the BT17 and 2 of the BT12. In my testing, I have felt like this is a really good number for them. BT17, excuse me, Shine Greymon is really important to be able to spit out this body and be able to go, hey, I have something that's protected that I can threaten with a burst mode ace, and I'm able to cheat out another Marcus. Being able to put out a bunch of Marcuses into play is extremely important whenever you're looking at Shine Greymon, and even this burst mode, like we're looking at BT12 and burst mode. Everybody knows what this one does. This one's just a really big kill spell and allows your Marcuses to be sec +1, which this card is just insane. Seeing it at 2 feels weird, but I think it is the correct play. For our 7s, we're on 2 burst mode aces. 2 is the number that I've also been toying around with. It feels really good. Being able to, on Evo, play a tamer for free, and then be able to give one of your nuke an opponent's Digimon for upwards of consistently like -15 to -20 is really strong, especially when they're attacking. And then when attacking effect, being able to suspend 2 of your Marcuses to get sec +1 for each, and then trigger all of your Marcus, because they all say when this tamer is suspended, can get kind of out of hand really quickly. Your stack needs to live, of course, but I think it's pretty all right. This Shine Greymon also, of course, not being able to leave the battle area if you can return a Marcus is incredibly strong. Finally, for our options, we're on 3 physical training, 1 yellow memory boost, 1 awakening of the sun. A lot of people aren't playing this card, and I can understand why. It kind of can be clunky, but if you're able to hold up a blocker tamer and they delete or bounce that tamer at all, being able to go into a Shine Greymon, even a burst mode like this ace without them attacking is really strong, and it kind of just cheats out the tamer for a cost of reduction of at least 1, upwards of 2, or even 3, depending on if you suspend this Marcus whenever it's played. Speaking of our Marcuses, we're on only 8, which is kind of surprising. I'm on about 10 or 11, and that's the number I've been seeing floating around, but with all this good stuff that you want to be able to play, you kind of do have to trim down on Marcuses. We're on 3 of the Setter Marcus from BT13, we're on 3 of the BT12 Marcus, and we're on 2 of the BT17 Marcus. This BT17 Marcus I have a love-hate relationship with. It is one of those cards that reads really well, except whenever it's exactly the first Marcus that you have. So you really have to have it paired with a secondary Marcus to do a lot of the stuff that you want to be doing with it. Since it is an on-play effect, it is a mandatory effect. You were always required. So if you play this out as your first tamer, it always becomes a Digimon no matter what. And it's always a blocker, which is great. It can give itself plus 3,000, which is also great, and it gains you a memory, but if it's the only tamer that you have and you need it to survive to your next turn to be able to do anything, it kind of gets a lot worse. This Marcus, of course, we know is just going to be there to warp, and then this Marcus is there to set our memory and be able to gain us some extra memory as well. All of these combo extremely well with the Rise Greymon and the Shine Greymon burst mode. Being able to suspend tamers that you already have in play is something that the deck has not had up until this point, aside from the BT12 Marcus, in addition to any Marcus that you do with the Agumon that turns him into Digimon. So being able to use those tamers like the Setter and the new on-play blocker one, both of those being able to be suspended by other effects that you have is extremely strong. Very cool list. Definitely some changes in here that I want to see made to my own. Can't talk about it all day. Let's go and move on to second place. This is Malloy's second place Imperial Dramon list. Very, very familiar and yet completely different from what we already know. Our rookie lineup looks fairly similar from a glance, right? We have our 8 searchers between the BT12 ones. These are non-negotiable. You always have to play these at 8. They are just the best cards that you can have access to. 2 promo VMons, which is the number that I'm seeing a lot more people on. We're on 1 of the BT16 Wormmon. We're on 2 promo Wormmon. Promo Wormmon is a card that a lot of people know is really strong, but you don't play as much because its search is a lot more awkward. It only picks up a 2-color blue or green card, which does now include Return to the Primogenitor. So you can pick that up in addition to your Paladin Mode Ace and stuff. And notably this Mega Gargomon Ace was good too. But I feel like you're mostly playing it for its end of turn DNA inherit. Being able to get that number up to 10 feels a lot better. I think that's why we're seeing a lot of people kind of cut down on the number of VMons, because you really want to be able to play more end of turn DNA. There's a lot of times where I'm on this deck and I'm like, man, I just need a DNA Digivolve at the end of my turn. I don't have the memory to DNA Digivolve without it being the end of my turn, but I had to Digivolve into something that doesn't have that inherited effect that makes this play a lot harder. So going up to 10 of those inherited effects, I feel like is extremely powerful. Even if this Wormmon is just the structure, this one is just the structure deck one that has the exact same inherited effect with no text on the top, and sometimes the on play comes up. Being able to grab any of your 5 or higher, as well as any of your tamers aside from Davis. Our level 4s, it is a very simple split. 4 of the ones that gain you memory, 2 of the ones that don't. 4 XV from BT12, 4 Sting from BT12, both of you gaining a memory, giving your stack jamming blocker, refunding you a total of 2 memory through that, and more if you have Davis and Ken, is extremely powerful. We're on 2 of the the structure deck Stingmon that draws a card inherited and can be played for a cost of 3, and we're on 2 of the XVmon that just says jamming, and inherited says jamming. Very, very strong effect, being able to do that. Just kind of being on 12 is good. I've seen some people toying around with 13 and playing Elydramon, but if you're playing 10 Wormmon or 10 total searchers with those other 2 Wormmons, you would think the Elydramon will be a little bit better, but there's nothing wrong with that. Just know that whenever you play either of these BT12 searchers, you should be picking up one of your level 4s. Our level 5s, also extremely familiar. 4 of the BT16 Pyldramon and 3 of the Structure Deck Pyldramon. We've been seeing some people toy around with BT12 Pyldramon, the one that allows you to strip out 3 sources from all of your opponent's Digimon. The top 3 from every one of their Digimon, I should say. And then nothing with, and then you can target Digimon that don't have sources and they cannot attack or block. Very strong effect. Doesn't come up as much as you might think. A lot of more Digimon are getting these effects that just say like, oh, like I'm unaffected, or like if you were going into that and then you don't have your Davis and Ken, suddenly the thing that you don't want to be able to attack or block has sources. Plus, if it gets sources by digivolving, for instance, it will be able to attack. It's one of those things that feels nice to be able to combo with if you have the ability, but doesn't come up enough in practice, in my opinion. We're on 1 copy of Mega Gargomon Ace, a card that is extremely powerful, and I'm not surprised to see it here. Of course, it can't be picked up by most of your searchers aside from the aforementioned Promo Wormmon, but the effect of when digivolving to suspend 2 of your opponent's Digimon and then they can't unsuspend or digivolve is super strong. This is also really, really good into like hybrid decks like Ancient Grey and Ancient Garu, and upcoming hybrid decks as well, being able to say, okay, cool, those 2 tamers that you have, they can't unsuspend or digivolve, and then I'm going to clear out your entire board with cleanup duty is very, very good. You know, it's like you just have to end on a green level 5 with, which all of our level 5s are, and so being able to threaten that is really good, or being able to just hard evo into it. You gain enough memory in general, right? If you have your setter out and 1 Davis and Ken and you start your turn with a 5, this Davis and Ken does just say when you digivolve into a green Digimon, suspend to gain a memory. You don't need that source strip. You can just gain a memory, and then you're keeping turn with Mega Gargo, preventing your opponent from doing stuff, and then kind of walking over the remainder of everything else. Very, very good inclusion here. For our Imperial Dramons, however, we're on 2 BT16 Dragon modes and 2 Fighter modes. Good numbers. We're on 2 Structure Deck Dragon modes, which is a card that I'm seeing come up a lot more because it is kind of, a lot of people would consider that more of a high roll card, but if you have enough memory gain, it does kind of just allow you to extend, right? If you're able to go, if you have, let's say, 2 memory, right, after your DNA play, which is more frequent, which happens more frequently than not, you're able to go Pyldramon, swing twice, Primogenitor or Hidden Potential discovered into Dragon mode, spit out those 2 bodies, partition again, gain another 2 memory. So you're either back at where you started if you're using Return of the Primogenitor, or you're up 2 memory with HPD, and then be able to swing for another 2 checks and then possibly do it again if you're really, really lucky. Very good card. A lot of people are playing more of it. I am considering, I have been toying around with 1 copy and it has come up a lot, especially if you're able to go, if you're trying to get around blockers. Additionally, with attacking, right, if your opponent has a blocker and they block and delete your Primogenitor, or if they block and try to delete one of these 2, your Primogenitor can just allow you to warp into it anyway, right? If it's already used out its usefulness, you can just go into this and go, okay, cool, well, I'm just gonna, you've already blocked, perfect, let me go ahead and slot these out over here, and let's do it again, right? And we're on 1 Paladin mode Ace, a card that I want so badly to play at 2 copies, but there is simply not enough room. This card is just so good in such niche matchups, but is incredibly powerful. The effect of stopping purple from playing the game is good, right? Don't get me wrong. That card, being able to do it to prevent like Ancient Garu from playing by returning all of its trash that it's trying to return, being able to just stop a lot of really good stuff is really strong, but the usefulness of this card comes up less and less as I play. 1 copy I think is plenty. Finally, for our options, 3 of the aforementioned Return of the Primogenitor are legally allowed 1 copy of Hidden Potential discovered, 4 of the best card in the game in the Davis and Ken Tamer, and 2 Davis Setters. Extremely solid list, definitely some cards in here that I want to try out, and some more affirmations of things that I think would work extremely well in my list. Let's check out first place, though. And for those of you who have been keeping up with the North American results of BT17 and now EX7, you might be not surprised to see Dagora kind of taking the whole thing. Dagora is a deck that got top 5 at the most recent regional before this Bandai CardGameFes, and it's hard not to see why. The deck has a lot of tools and is evolving in the States in a way we didn't really see it in Japan that is really working to these players' advantages. This is Cross J316's Dex Dagora list, and it looks extremely similar to the last one that I was just talking about that topped at the Cartomagical Regional at the beginning of September. The bottom end is one that makes sense. You're on 4 of the BT16 Dorumons that allow you to slot your Kosuke's underneath. You're on 3 of the BT17 Dorumons that let you warp, which is mostly there for reboot. You have the 1 Agumon that lets you, whenever you play a Kosuke, gain a memory and draw a card. Again, mostly there for the reboot. and you're on 2 of the Chikurimon that you can't reduce play cost. This is notably really good into some of your harder matchups, such as Ancient Garu, a deck that's going to bounce your stuff anyway and reduce its cost via playing out with the Ancient Guardian Deity. Sorry, words are really hard today. It also is really good into Tyrant because it prevents Tyrant from doing its whole thing for as cheaply as it does, and it just has some other niche applications that come up pretty well. Also, funny enough, stops you from being able to play out your Stingmon for a cost of 3 as opposed to 4. Next up for our 4s, we're on 4 of the BT16 Doruga, we're on 2 of the BT17 Dex Doruga, and we're on 2 of the BT15 Airdramon. Airdramon allows you to slot a Marvin Johnson from your hand to de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Also has Inherited Reboot, but this also is just a really good way to get your some more cards into rotation. So if you're, let's say that you have to play out level 3 and you can promote your level 3, this notably doesn't say that the card that you're doing it to can't have another tamer in its sources. So you could even go like promote BT16 Dorumon, slot Kosuke underneath, draw a card off Doraemon, digivolve into the Airdramon, slot Marvin underneath, and then you have 2 tamers in your sources that you can spit out for a cost of 2. Very, very impressive little play. We're also on 2 Sephirothmon. Sephirothmon, of course, started making this Digimon attacks that can, in fact, digivolve on top of your opponent's black Digimon. Or off of your black tamers, I should say, my apologies. Very good when coupled with, it's an effect that you like seeing with Doruga, but sometimes it just doesn't work out if you don't have a tamer in rotation, so being able to do it a little bit early if you really need to, but more importantly, being able to use your tamers, your mind linkable tamers, put it on top for a cost of 3, force them to attack, and then end your mind link at the end of the turn is incredibly powerful. For our level 5s, this is where the most interesting piece of tech has come up with this. We're on 4 Doru Greymons from BT16 and 3 BT15 Megadramon, a card that a lot of people know is really powerful, but we were trying out BT17 Dex Doru Grey before realizing, wait, that card just kind of sucks. The card doesn't do as much as a lot of other cards are doing for their archetypes, and so by replacing it with this BT15 Megadramon, you're seeing a lot more of an interesting play pattern. So whenever you're up to level 4, you can decide, am I going to be able to sit on my Doru Grey? Do I have something that's forcing them to attack that I can block with and evo into a Dorugora? Or am I going to be able to go into my Megadramon, reveal, slot a card with Machine, Cyborg, or SOC, notably it's this card, so you can also slot yet another tamer underneath it, trash one card, such as one of your Dex cards between Dex Doruga and Dex Dorugora, being able to throw that to the trash. And then when it's hacking, if you have an SOC trait card in your sources, delete an opponent's play cost 3 Digimon or Tamer, being able to do Tamer hate, especially against the Kosuke one that prevents you from being redirected, or not the Kosuke, sorry, preventing redirection. Deleting the Koji that prevents redirection is incredibly strong. Again, words are extremely hard. Inherited D-Digivolve 1 when attacking, also incredibly strong. Being able to kind of out a big stack a lot easier is really good. This card is incredibly powerful, and even just being able to go play it for 7, threaten Mega Gargo Ace, incredibly strong. One of Mega Gargo Ace. Not the first time we've seen it today, and I guarantee it won't be the last. This card, again, same reasons I said it in Imperial, is just a really strong card to have right now, and I'm not surprised to see this. Being able to prevent Digivolution is so powerful. I will not be surprised if we just kind of see this as a one of in any deck that supports green or black in any of its level 5 colors. As for the level 6s, pretty familiar stuff here. Otherwise, other than the Mega Gargo, we have 4 Dorugoras and 3 Dex Dorugoras. Very good ratio, being able to delete a Tamer on Digivolve, and then or deleting a Digimon and then unsuspending and doing some more attacking, and then being able to hold up the protection with your Dex Dorugora in trash is very strong. Of course, one of this deck's hardest matchups is Imperial, being able to be Paladin aced. Sometimes they don't have it though. For your 7s, you're playing 1 Ruin Mode. Ruin Mode, again, is very good into Imperial, but also into decks like Ancient Garu and Ancient Grey. They have to go through their Aguni and their Lobomon, and both of those are at 5,000, so they will be deleted. Well, I guess Ancient Greys wouldn't be, because it's going to have the Inherited from Burning Greymon, so it should be fine. But it's very good into Ancient Garu, which is a deck a lot more people were concerned about. But it's also just a very good, very good Imperial Dramon check. If they're unable to get to a 5 in the back, this card just kind of sets up for lethal. There's been times where I've gone into my 6, done my things at my level 6, and then been able to Digivolve into a Ruin mode, unsuspend, swing with Ruin mode, give another blanket -5. 2 turns is usually enough to stop Imperial in their checks and be able to kind of close out the game. For our options, we're on 1 Protoform, 4 Defense Training, and 1 Calling from the Darkness. This is allowed to be played basically at any of your levels, in addition to if you have your 1 of AG, that we'll go ahead and talk about now. Being able to grab back any 2 purple Digimon cards from your trash is incredibly strong. I mean, we're looking at any of your pieces, really. All of your cards all have the ability to be grabbed back at any level. And so the fun fact, it's not a costed elite, it's an additional benefit. So if you're attempting to, let's say that you're going to activate with Dorugora, right? Let's say you have Dorugora on field and you have 1 memory. You're going to be able to go Calling from Darkness, target Dorugora. Doragora's Interruptive is going to trigger with Dex Dorugora. You're going to force Digivolve into Dex Dorugora, resolve all of Dex Dorugora stuff, and then grab back whatever 2 pieces that you need from your trash, any 2 purple Digimon cards that allows you to build up more in the stack. If you're doing this as well, you'll be able to play a level 5, a 5 cost or less X antibody, which will be any of your level 4s, or rather, your Dorugora, your Doruga, your Airdramon, and any of your level 3s, aside from Chikurimon, will all be allowed to be played off of that, and then you can Evo it into the cards that you grab. Couple this with the fact that AG gives Alliance, and you can slot it under anything that has anything that has SOC, and you're suddenly looking at a very big swing from your Dex Dorugoramon. And finally, for our Tamers, we're on 3 Marvin Johnson and 3 Kosuke's. Again, being able to be cheated out by Dorumon and Airdramon and Megadramon is incredibly strong. We're on 1 AG. Alliance is really strong, and you only really need 1 of it. Otherwise, you're kind of just swinging through as necessary. And then we're on the 1 of UG. The UG is very interesting because every turn, especially if you have it out, every turn that you're promoting any Digimon from the back, unless it's exactly Chikuri or Sephirothmon, you'll be gaining a memory and drawing a card. And then whenever any of your black Digimon with the X antibody trait attacks, you can suspend this tamer to place another X antibody card from your hand as its bottom card. Notably, you could even throw in a Protoform if you really, really need to, but for the most part, you're kind of just slotting in another inherited effect that's really powerful, such as Megadramon, or another version of Dorugray. If you have 2 Dorugrays, you're suddenly looking at a very big swing potential. Congratulations again. This is a very, very good looking list, and I'm very happy to see more and more Dorugora kind of popping up and doing really well. And that's it. Huge thank you to Egman Events and Risu the Squirrel for compiling all this information, and congratulations to all the players who topped. Let me know if you guys want to see even longer videos than what this is. I've been recording for half an hour. You guys are probably going to see about 20 minutes of it. But if you guys want to see me go kind of even farther into the top 16 and maybe talk about 1 of every list that topped, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to be able to do that, but I also don't want to hold you guys hostage for 45 minutes. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, consider liking, consider subscribing. I'm going to try really hard to put out more videos more consistently, but I can't do that without your help. So, thank you again, and until next time, take it easy.